Thank you for that. That's a warm welcome and the introduction. Just to speak a little more about who I am and why I'm doing this on a Saturday morning. I'm passionate about women, right? As it is, the game is rigged against us. And so if we're not intentional, we will just find that we will walk this earth for nothing. Funding and building other people's goals without having one that is ours. So, I mean, you can see I came early. I didn't have to. My session is for 12, but I thought that I'll sit down here with these ladies and learn. Yeah. So I pray that we make the most of this network, because if you're not intentional about our gatherings, we will find that the outcomes don't pay us off.
Absolutely.
In my spare time, I give people business advice. I help people who are looking for funding for their business. I connect money to businesses, right? And I do it for free. I don't do it because I want to earn something. And that's because there are people who have great ideas, have businesses that they run that just need the right funding, the right partner, and they will just grow. So I'm doing this thing because I'm passionate about it, not because of Stanbic. Now, the conversations we are going to be having are a practical one. Okay, I want to also mention that I'm a mentor for the African Women Entrepreneurs Net Cooperative. It's a Pan-African women's organization that helps prepare women for funding opportunities. You know, I was a founder in cohort 7. I also signed up to be a founder of cohort 9. Cohort 9, I have 5 women across Africa who I'll be mentoring for the coming 6 months.
Please bring my laptop. Thank you. Bring my laptop.
So whilst I have a 9 to 5, I also have other things that I'm doing because God has given me that talent, and I want to be able to hear, well done, thou good and faithful servant. The conversations that we'll be having here will be very practical. And I hope that if it's just one thing you take out, run with it. Because your mindset about money is going to change. It's going to change by virtue of our interaction. And I want to leave you with a framework. See, if you don't put a system or a framework to what you do, you will find out that you're not consistent. And it is the person who is consistent that then gets the result, right? If you do things haphazardly, when you feel like, when the weather is favoring you, the incremental benefits of the things that you do will not accrue to you as quickly as someone who is disciplined and has a framework, right? And the things I will tell you are things that, please, can you share my slide? I sent my slide. Please, can you share my slide, please?
Yeah, I don't think this is a slide. This is the first speaker slide. Let's have a slide, please.
No, this is my slide. No, this is my slide. Making money work for your business.
Okay, this making money work for your business. Okay, yes. Great.
Yeah. So the things that I will be speaking to are things that you can actually feel. So the first question you want to ask, and this will require a lot of introspection, because I find that it is in the thinking, when we sit down and think about this thing, the brain is the most complex organ that God has given. As a matter of fact, the human body, how God created it, still remains a mystery. But even the most intelligent people are not using up to 10% of your brain. So I'm going to ask you, think about it. Is your money working for you? Data has shown that female-led SMEs, they do generate money. As a matter of fact, by virtue of what I've done in Stanbic IBTC, I get to meet a lot of data, and you find that women pay back their credit more than men. let me say it again. Women pay back their credits more than men, but only 3% entrepreneurs. Meanwhile, a whooping 41% of the micro enterprises in Nigeria are owned. And you would agree with me that this is not a money problem. This is a structure problem, right? And so we want to solve the problem. We want to provide solution from a structure basis. What have we found? We find that these businesses generate revenue, but more often than not, that revenue sits idle. That revenue is somewhere waiting for someone to send it on an errand. And because women are caring people, more often than not, we will send that money on an errand that is not helping our business. Please follow me. You pack your money and you leave it in a bank account. It is not helping your business. It is idle, right? 65% of the Zuri network women have formalized their businesses, right? So which means you still have a number of you whose businesses have not been formalized. What do I mean by formalized? You have separated the business entity from you. Your business is a living thing. You are a living thing, and you are not commingling the two of them, right? So now what we need to do is to understand money in such a way that we make the right money move. See, money, when you understand it, is a very good servant. But money, when you don't understand it, is a terrible master. Because as a good servant, you are the one who is in front with the steering wheel. You are driving it and telling it where to go to. Money will follow you. But when money becomes your master, you will find that you are doing everything and anything because money is the underlying motive. We want to learn how money works. We want to learn the framework to make money our servant, so that it's not everything that says, oh, let's do this. This will make you money that you jump into, right? So how many of you here have money sitting in a current account that is not earning anything for you? Think about it for a moment. Reflect about it. If you don't remember anything, remember that 41% of the micro businesses in Nigeria are owned by women. But that 41%, only 3% get commercial bank credit. Now, I said that I want to leave you with something. And what I want to leave you with is something that I need you to continually go back and think about it. I want to leave you with a mind shift, where your mind is shifting from an operator of a business to a capital strategist. Because I have discovered that capital can be architected. You can engineer your business such that capital will come to you. Please follow me. What is an operator mindset? An operator mindset follows revenue. Or money goes into our account. As money is sitting down there, one bill arrives, and money, the revenue pays the bill. Then whatever is left of it is now your profit. You find that you then, to fund your growth, to fund your scaling, you then have to find you then have to be funded either by a bank overdraft or some sort of equity borrowing or something. But a capital strategist works with the capital in mind, such that by the time revenue comes, you have allocated that revenue by purpose. So each money that comes into your account has a purpose, and you are the one who then determines where it goes. That's why I said money is a good servant. And any idle cash you then deploy strategically so that profits that you get or income that is earned is reinvested with intention. You have the end in mind. You know where you're going to. Imagine where you enter a car, you want to go to Ibadan, and then you start to drive towards Ota. Your journey is going to be long. But where you say, I'm going to Ibadan, and you know the direction to Ibadan, you know what the road to Ibadan looks like, so that as you're going, if this place is not looking like it, you are turning back and following the right road. Your journey will be shorter, such that the growth of your business will be funded by capital that is structured. And that capital is a business decision. It is an intentional business decision. So let's talk about it. What is capital, or what is structured investment? Structured investment is not complicated. It's just a deliberate, intentional deployment of capital or money into clearly defined business functions that will be governed by rules that will protect and grow your capital. Remember, I said something about framework. If you don't have a framework, then you will be working haphazardly. And the outcome of haphazard working is always chaos. And chaos does not benefit anybody other than the person who is creating the chaos, right? You don't want that in your business. So to grow your capital or your principal, or to grow your structured investment, three things then matter. The first is the purpose. This money I have now, what is the purpose of this money? Because every naira, even think about it in your personal life, every naira must have a purpose. Whether that purpose is to fund operation, is to build growth, or is to build your reserves, right? Because your business must go on, because you have a vision to grow, and because to grow you want to build reserves, because you don't want to come to the market and you say, oh, I'm looking for funding. The first thing that somebody who wants to fund you is going to ask is, what's your skin in the game for this business? A friend of mine, I think it was during the lockdown, she's into education and she found a school she wanted to buy. She went through the process to the extent that they were ready to sell to her. What was her underlying challenge? One, she didn't have any skin in the game, apart from the fact that she was Montessori trained, and so she had the skill to go a school. She didn't have any equity contributions. Two, she was not speaking to the right way. Of course, when we want to go into business, the first people that we're talking to will be family and friends. I promise you, they will disappoint you. So of course she was disappointed. I met her, she and I became friends last year. And so she was telling me the story, and I was like, if you and I had been friends by then, I would have been able to structure for you investors, because the school was in Ikoyi. The school was not in red. They were selling because of founder problems, you know. So every money you have must have a purpose. The second is rules, where structure is important. If you don't have rules that govern your money, I promise you, people will ask you for urgent 2K to the extent that even you that work for the money, you'll find that there's nothing left for you to use. So you must structure your finance rules such that, your revenue rules such that you know how much you're keeping aside for operations. You know how much you're keeping for growth. You know how much you're keeping for capital reserves. Because you want to know where every naira is going. And then you want to put rules that will determine how those monies go. Who is approving what? What is the reinvestment ratio? What triggers do you have to see to draw down so that your revenue comes with a purpose. Otherwise, you will find that money will come and money will leave. The third is return. Now, your capital, when deployed into a structured investment, must generate for you a measurable return, right? That is that's commensurate with the level of risk you want to take. So whether you're investing in a low risk, or you're investing in a bit of a volatile asset, your capital must generate you a return, as opposed to lying down in a bank, not doing anything. Now, when we talk about capital, you want to ask, where does money come from? Please confirm that you can still hear me.
Loud and clear, ma'am. Loud and clear.
Okay. You want to understand how capital comes, where money comes from, right? The first is equity or investment, right? So imagine that you want to start a business and you have put aside 5 million, and that 5 million may not necessarily be enough. So you want some people to partner with you. You go and offer them equity in your business, right? So that's the first form of capital. And you need to know that, because these four, they have a hierarchy. Most female founders live entirely on retained earnings, right? But when you do that, see the other layers that you are not taking advantage of. And so this slide is just to give you a precursor of the different kinds of capital or money that can come into your business. Grants or blended finance, these are non-repayable capital. You have organizations who, and especially for us women, because the gap is wide, you have companies who are willing to, institutions who are willing to give us grants. They're not repayable. I know that with this Trump's presidency, a lot of grant inflows have decreased into Nigeria for whatever reasons, but it's important for you to know that there's still grants, and can be on the lookout for grants that can help your business. The third is the debt. So I took it from bottom up. So I said that we retained earnings, because retained earnings is like your own profit, which you reinvest with your intention. You know what you want to do with it, right? The next is grants, right? The third is debt and credit. You can borrow money from finance houses. You can borrow from banks that allow you to grow your business. And then the fourth is, which is at the top, is the highest level of leverage, which is equity, because you are going to be giving off some of your ownership for their money. Now, the goal is to help you understand where you sit. So on this slide now, where do you sit? Irrespective of where you sit, you can climb up. And that climb up the stack it has to be deliberate. That has to be intentional. It has to be engineered by you, because the climb first starts with structure. So if you're sitting on retained earnings, you want to structure your business such that when there's an opportunity for a grant, you can apply and take that grant and grow your business. And with that business growth, with that structure, you can get bank credit to the extent that you have grown and you want to come to the market to get equity investment. I'm sure we're all aware that the media has been rife with Dangote refinery coming to the market, and all of the noise that have gone around it. He didn't just wake up in the morning and start with coming to the market. He had tested his concept. The business was working. He's doing his stuff, his operations. Dangote is very good. He's borrowed a lot from the banks, and he decides that, you know what? Let me take this business to the market. And so he will sell some of his equity, collect money from us who will buy, and will become equity holders of Dangote Refinery Limited. So that is how the capital, that is the ladder for the capital. You start retained earnings, you structure so that you are able to get grants, you grow with the grants, and then you get credits or debts, and then you get equity. Capital has two allocations. So there are two buckets for you to stack your funds, your money. The first is a working capital. The second is growth capital. Working capital is money that you have set aside for the day-to-day running of your business, right? That keeps that business alive. And which is why cash flow is important in business. You don't want to grow to the extent that you have a cash flow problem, because that means that you won't be able to pay salary, you won't be able to get your raw materials, you won't be able to pay creditors and all of those things, and then you're not able to pay rent and all of those things. That puts you in a tight leash. So your revenue is either going to go into working capital. Hopefully, not all of your revenue should go into working capital. And then you keep some aside for growth capital. So working capital will fund payroll, suppliers, inventory, raw materials, rent, utilities, short-term receivables, emergency, and operational reserves. The second is your growth capital. So in your business, you want to know, how much do I need on a monthly basis to run this company? You must have that number. There's an emergency operational reserve, no doubt, because in this Nigeria, God is helping us. But you have to know per month how much your business is spending to be in operation. Excess, you have to deploy to capital growth. And capital growth is that part of your revenue that helps your business grow. Maybe you want to buy equipment, you want to expand, you want to do, you want to send your staff on training, you want to do new products, you want to, so anything that helps your business grow from where it is, anything like that is not on the day-to-day running, is then geared to grow your capital. To do that, there accounts and I call them tools that you need to know about. So you must have a dedicated business account. Please, my sisters, you can't put business money inside Anita Nigeria Limited. You want to, no matter how small, because if you're going to walk up to a bank for an overdraft facility, for any form of partnership, they'll ask to see your books. They'll ask to see your books, and that's one of the structures that we need to put in place. We have to be unemotional about money. We have to be logical about money. Because I don't know if I will say it's fortunately or unfortunately, women are from Venus, Abimas. I don't know what we're emotional. But there's some things where you want to remove your emotions and think logically and strategically, right? The second tool you want to have in your box of finance toolkit is grants capital. You still have DFIs, development finance institutions, you have foundations who give you non-repayable grants. And when you access that grant, please deploy it into your business. Don't buy a Birkin bag. you grow your business to the extent that the profit you can then buy that can fund your lifestyle. But in the stage where you're growing your business, focus and grow your business. The third finance toolkit that you should have or that you should know about, so that if you need it, you will use it, is invoice financing, where you have an invoice and you need someone to fund it for you. I hear there are many forms of it, and many institutions doing this, but be mindful of where you partner, who you partner with, because the interest rates on these are also very high. So I'll still recommend that if you have to do invoice financing, let it be with a bank. The fourth is the SME credit facilities. There are banks that will give you credit facilities just because you're a woman, just because you run a business that is making money. Please do well to include this in your toolkit in the event that you need it. All of these loans will ask for your business track record, which is why you must structure your business such that when you need these things, you are ready for it. Your CAC records will be required, your financial records will be required. Therefore, formalizing your business is important. If you have a passion that makes money for you, and and that is a side hustle for you, then let that inflow, let the revenue from that, your passion or that your business, let it be in a separate account, right? So that you can check in 6 months, how much has this made for me? If this has made this amount of money for me, how can I get it bigger? How can I get it better? The fifth is a revenue-based finance, where capital is repaid as a percentage of your monthly revenue, right? It is not a fixed return. Your repayment moves as your business performance gets better. I would use this opportunity to introduce to you the Stanbic IBTC Blue Blossom. When Modupe comes, she's going to speak more about it, because she's in the bank side of the business. I'm in the fund management side of the business. Yeah, so the Blue Blossom was put together for women-led businesses, so that we help address the financial and advisory challenges that women-led businesses currently facing. And you recall the data I showed earlier, that only 4% of bank credits get to female-led SMEs, whereas 41% of small and micro businesses are run by women. The disparity is 10x. With Blue Blossom, you get preferential loan rates, you get discounted banking fees, you have relationship and advisory support, you have digital banking integration to help with your collections, you would get business advisory access, and then that puts you in a position where there's a gateway to capital products. Please follow me. Let me give you a typical example. Investing your idle cash in the Stanbic IBTC mutual funds, how will that help you? Sometime early last year, because I had the business development team, I have to move around the country. So I was in Abuja, and some young man that is into real estate and tech, I met him through his cousin, who's my colleague, said, "Oh, Anita, please, I want to see you. Yeah, I hear you're coming to Abuja. I want to have a discussion with you." And when I heard him out, what was he telling me? He said that he put 200 million in our money market mutual fund last year. that the income that came out of that mutual fund investment was what he used to fund his working capital on a monthly basis, and he still had extra. So he was making money from that investment, using the income to pay staff and run around his business, and he still had excess. This money, so he then asked me, why aren't you people talking about it enough? So in his mind, he says, we're not speaking to the corporates enough. That yes, the individuals are aware that, oh, they can put money in mutual funds, but with the amount of money that corporates hold, do you know how much they make if they put money in their mutual fund, if they open a mutual fund and put it, instead of leaving those monies lying idle in a bank account? And so that's this young man, nothing you tell him will make him not use the mutual funds as a means of growing his capital. The mutual funds are Stanbic IBTC mutual funds are SEC regulated as CBN license. You're not putting money into one ABC Nigeria Limited. No. Investment is low entry. Your money is liquid. You can redeem it like this. Yesterday, 2 p.m., one big man in Dangote, because Dangote has come out. Okay, so when you want to list your company, there's a process. You first start with putting together the papers, documentation, and then you go and register that with the Securities and Exchange Commission. You can do a private placement. So if I have a company now and I have like some friends who have money, they don't know what to do with their money or who believe in what I'm doing, I can go to them to say, come and invest in my company. This is how much you will get as shares, right? And so that's a private placement. After the private placement, what typically then follows for well-run organizations is a public offer, right? An initial public offer. Initial because that's the first time that that company is coming to the market. So Dangote Refinery is going to be coming to the market for the first time sometime this year. But one of the people who work in Dangote Refineries, he'd been putting money aside in his mutual funds. You know, why spend it when you can invest it and it can grow? And so yesterday, 2 p.m., he sends a form that he needs the money today. It was stressful because with redeeming money from the mutual funds is at least 24 hours, especially where the money is in high value. But I'm not going to punish him for that. So I processed his money. That same yesterday, he got his money and he was able to buy his private placement. So if the fund is that liquid, we don't have any excuse not to put money in the mutual funds. Because if you don't put that money in the mutual fund, something else will take that money. Money is a spirit. And unfortunately, we don't understand that money is a spirit. It has wings. It will fly and go. So even as an individual, what I do, the money that I want to spend for the month, I set it aside. The one that I will put inside my investment goes to my investment. Because I find from my own experience, is people will come with their problems. And if you have a heart like mine, where somebody says, oh, I've not paid school fees, or my child in hospital, my heart will not even allow me to not give you, because I will now have to sit down with God and say, okay, will I now sit down, I have this 100K now, and somebody's child not going to school? Whether the person is using it to pay school, I don't know. My own conversation is usually with God. But when I find that I put that money in mutual fund, I'm not going to go and liquidate my investment to solve your problem. If the money I have left aside to carry me month on month, if it can accommodate it, I'll give you something. So I find that for people who have a generous heart, the mutual fund will help you put a structure so that you will not work all your life and you're giving out the money all your life. Because these same people that will come to you and say, what do you do with your life? Put it in a mutual fund. So you cannot be liquidating your investment for somebody else's problem. If you have an excess, it's the best to ask you for 100 and you can give 20. Give what you can give, but you're not working so that you are giving other people money. That mutual fund helps me structure that. We have different mutual funds, and each has his own objectives depending on what you want to achieve. We have the money market mutual fund, Stanbic IBTC money market fund. That money market fund is where you put short-term funds. It is low risk, it's high liquid, and is ideal for your operational funds. So money that you want to use in the next 2-3 weeks, 1 month, you can leave it there and come back and come and take it because it's liquid enough. It's best for cash reserves and emergency funds. We have the equity funds. Our equity bias funds are doing very well. Don't be swayed by what you're hearing in the market right now that there's a crash. There's no crash. There's just a dip. Markets go up and come down. The equity market has in Nigeria so far done over 50%. People who invested at the beginning of the year, they will definitely take profit. So the equity funds are also a good place to invest your long-term wealth building funds through diversified equities. These funds are professionally managed. They are best for your retained profit. So you have profits that you say you want to keep maybe for growth for the next 1-2 years. Pack it inside the equity fund. We have our enhanced fixed income fund. Our enhanced fixed income fund is also a medium-term capital growth fund. It contains both bonds and equities. It's stable, the returns are predictable. It's best also for growth capital that you don't intend to use for between 6 to 18 months. We have ethical funds. Our ethical funds are ethical, so they will not invest in certain kinds of investments that are faith aligned. So if you're a faith aligned person, you worry that, oh, I don't want my money funding things that I don't believe in, that fund will work for you. This next slide is showing you how our mutual funds have grown over time so that you know your options. You don't put your working capital funds your working capital in the equity fund, because by the time you need it, the market may have dipped. So you put your working capital in the money market fund where there's no dip, there's decent return, right? And then you put your growth capital funds into a longer term fund. In any of the equity bias funds, we have a lot, so you can choose from depending on what your appetite, your risk appetite is. And this slide just shows you a sample of what funds would have done if you had put them in the mutual fund. So if you put 1 million, if you had put 1 million naira in our Iman fund for 5 years, it's going to almost 5 million, 4.2. 10 years is going to 6.9 million, and that's how we have structured this. This slide just shows you how, if you put money over a period, what it looks like. The numbers speak for themselves. So if you had invested 5 million naira 5 years ago into our equity funds, into Iman, into SIM, this is what the numbers would look like. These are real audited SEC regulated returns. The question is not whether these funds work. The question is, what is your business going to do with its idle cash right now? So look at this very well so that you can begin to think about what your options are. Now, how do you want to be fundable? How do you want to grow your business? How do you want to structure your business so that it becomes fundable? Bankability is what you are now thinking about. Capital officers, they do not fund potential, unfortunately. They want proof. They want evidence. that this business is making money, that this business will be here in the next 3 years, 5 years. So here are the 4 steps, and these steps are really non-negotiable if you're serious about your business. 4 non-negotiable steps that will help you become fundable, institutionally fundable. I mean, even individuals, they will also be asking you for these things. The first is go and register and formalize your business. Go and register and formalize your business. Without it, you're already shooting yourself in the foot. The second, separate your finances. Your business should be separate from you. You want to open a dedicated business account so that you stop mixing personal and business money, because that's the first thing that banks look at. The third is you want to build a 12-month revenue record. 6 months of consistent documented revenue creates for you a credit history. 12 months unlocks term loans for you. 6 months of consistent documented revenue creates a credit history. 12 months unlocks term loans. The fourth is to document your governance. You want to have a board. What are your financial policies? What are your signatories? Because institutional partners want to see evidence of these controls. This governance is something I've seen that is lacking in a lot of small and medium scale businesses. So here is your 5-step structured investment playbook. 1, audit your money. Where's your money going? You got to find out. Find out where your money is going. 2, allocate your money by functions. For example, revenue comes, you want to set 60% to fund operations, working capital, 20% for growth, 10% for reserves. You pay tunable tax now, 10% for tax. You want to try to automate your revenue disbursement so that each naira that comes has a purpose. Please formalize the structure of your business, because institutional capital will ask for these things. When you have done these first 3, you want to identify your next source of capital. Do you want to get a grant? Do you want to get credit? Do you want to get equity? Then know which institution to apply for. Then you want to track your reports and the outcomes, because capital without reporting is charity. Measure your return on investment for every deployment. Your data, the data you get out of these will help you for your next funding pitch. I want to leave you with this 5-step playbook. Please begin today. Map every naira. Allocate by function. Purpose. Let your money have a purpose. You want to automate this allocation as soon as you can, if you can. Formalize your business. Put a structure in place. Separate your personal funds from your business funds. Based off of the first 3, you want to identify your next source of capital. You want to apply for that capital. Then you want to track to see that that capital has indeed given you the outcome that it should have. There's some common mistakes that kill SME capital strategy. I had said this before. Don't mix personal and business money, please. Using credit to fund operations will limit the growth. start your business. You can't apply for capital before formalizing your business. No CAC records will mean no access. Formalize first, apply second. Follow that structure. Don't deploy all capital at once. Stage capital deployment. Preserve reserves for opportunity and emergency. You must track the return on your capital because every deployment needs a metric. If you don't track it, you can't improve it. If you don't measure it, then why are you doing it? The bottom line is that capital doesn't just find you. You architect it, you engineer it, and you can. I promise you, you can. So structure your business in a way, formalize it so that you can position for institutional capital. That is the only way that female-led enterprises will grow. It's not by our passion, it's not by our ambition, but it's on architecture and engineering. Engineer capital, and it will come to you. Thank you very much.
Our notes are full. It's almost as if you're just giving free expo to those that want to apply for grants. Like everything you said, anybody that is using their ears, they're hearing words, they'll take notes. Thank you so much, Ma, for the line items, the action items. Thank you for sharing your knowledge with us. Thank you for feeling very comfortable to teach us today. And we are super, 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 super grateful for that. Thank you. Thank you so much. We'll take questions now. Oh, Madam Ida, do you want to address something before we go ahead?
For me, a lot has been said and it's profound. Thank you, Madam Anita. Right? It's your words straight from your lips to God's ears. And I think there's a saying that says, "He who have ears, let them hear." I know that we have a grant pool opening up at Zurich Circle Network. Yes, you're very, very spot on to say that inflow of grants into Nigeria has kind of tanked a bit since the Trump's administration. I don't know, I even saw something around even funding for women-led businesses, but we know that it is a pivotal tool to scale your business from point A to point B. Speaking of grants, right? I bias over grants in a kind of way, in the sense that most grants opportunities go to women, and I don't see, and I'm sorry, it's just me, speaking from my experience and being in rooms where these conversations are being heard. Right, grants are never really meritorious, if you ask me. It's a good way to get in capital, right, into your business. But the Dangotes of this world, the Otedolas of this world, the Melus of this world, they built the empire they have today on the back of bank credits, right? And I think that's what this conversation is about, not just bank credits. Structuring your revenue. She has dropped a whole lot of, I took down notes. Money is a good servant. She spoke about the operationalizing your revenue, having a revenue rule. A whole lot has been said today, but I mean, it's not about me. I really would want members in the audience to ask questions. You have her in the room now, right? There are questions, burning questions that you have, questions that is asked in the community. If you cannot unmute your mic, because I do understand that certain people, especially when you talk about women, right? They are still finding their voices. But if you have questions, burning questions that you really would want answers to, I think this opportunity is the right one to ask these questions. If you don't want to unmute your mic and ask the questions, please drop it in the comments, and I'm sure that Madam Anita will be more than happy to answer some of those questions. I have questions, but I mean, I'm going to yield the floor to you all to ask questions. Yes, we have Lillian Francis hands up. Lillian, you can unmute your mic and ask. We also have Olabisi Ola, who is raising her hand. After Lillian, Olabisi can ask. We have Madam Lydia of the Most High God. If you didn't ask, I'll be surprised, right? This is one founder that I know that has been so consistent, super stellar woman. But I'm going to let you guys just ask your questions, and then we'll continue to answer the questions until the next speaker comes in. I think Lillian is going first. Please unmute your mic. I'll give the floor to you now.
Yes, Smash. The the second speaker is actually on the call, so we acknowledge you, ma'am. Thank you for joining us. But we'll take the questions now.
Yes. All right, Lillian, please ask your question.
All right, thank you. Thank you. That was a great lecture. Thank you, ma'am. During the lecture, you mentioned about funding for business. So you mentioned that one has to run the business for at least 6 months to 12 months. I want to know, is there, for you to be eligible for funding, is there a particular amount of money you should have, like on a monthly basis, for running your business for you to be eligible?
So it depends on where you want to get funding from. And it depends on how much your revenue is, right? But based off of the numbers that your business is showing, so for example, if you're getting a revenue of 2 million a month, if you go to a bank to say you want to borrow money and you say you want to borrow 200 million, they're going to interrogate so much, because 2 million a month is 24 million a year of revenue, right? Not profit, revenue. And so the credit officer is going to be asking you, so what exactly are you going to be doing with 200 million? So there has to be there has to be connection between what you're earning, what you're borrowing, which will then also feed into what are you doing with what you're borrowing. So there isn't an amount that anybody can say, oh, you can't borrow, because different businesses have different revenue and operation needs, right? And growth aspirations. But that thing should tie into what you earn, what you want to, and what you want to do with it, what you currently earn, what you're currently doing, what you want to do with that money. There has to be some linkage. Otherwise, it will just become like a spurious numbers. So while I can't prescribe for you an amount, it should follow your books, which is why keeping your financial data will show you. As a matter of fact, if, let's pick it from an individual wants to go and borrow money to buy a house, the first thing that the bank will tell you is, let's see your pay slip. Why do they want to see your pay slip? They want to see how much you earn. If you earn 1 million naira a month and you're coming to a bank you want to get a mortgage of 350 million, they'll just be looking at you like, really? Are you kidding me? What you earn cannot fund what you want to buy. So they'll just be looking at you like, okay, this guy, you're wasting our time and nobody's going to talk to you, right? So that's the first thing they're going to ask, okay, this is what you earn. When they see what you earn, and then there's a connection between what you are earning to what you want to borrow, then they will start that discussion. But if there's no connection, that discussion is going to be a waste of everybody's time. So I can't prescribe how much, but you must keep your financial data so that when you approach a bank, based off of what the data tells them, they will know whether you are somebody that they can give and how much that they can give to you.
Thank you so much for that response, Madam Anita. I want to believe that you are done with answering that question.
Yes.
Okay, I mean, you know, when we talk about these things in the network, it can't be like, say, we are overstretching some things, right? We have partners that would help you structure, you know, this data that Madam Anita has been hammering on. Data is king. Data is the blood of every business. Data helps you make decisions. Data helps the bank help you better, right? And Otedola does not approach, and in fact, let me leave all the giants. I would not approach a business without a bank without a structure. I know they will not listen to me for sure, right? We know that there are gaps with women-led businesses, which is why we continue to bring in institutional partners to help, you know, correct. We can only do our part. We know that we are just one network, and trust me, we are doing all we can to ensure that your businesses are graded. We have over 300 businesses sitting in Zurich Circle Network, right? These 300 businesses can be duly funded, but let's continue to advance the conversation. I know that Oladili has her hands up. Let us hear from her. Oladili, please take the floor. Okay, I think I see Madam Lydia. Madam Lydia, please ask your questions, after which we'll get MCI Power to ask her question, and then, we can continue the conversation. Madam Lydia, the floor is yours.
Yes, ma'am. Good morning, ma'am. Good morning, ladies. Good morning, Mrs.
Good
Anita.
morning.
Thank you. In fact, I would have blamed myself if I came later. I just wanted to be sure I would settle fully and send everybody out so that I'll be able to attend this meeting. Thank you, Madam Linda. You dealt with part of my question, Madam Anita. Okay, and it's still bothersome. I want to lay it outright. Number one, you cited me as an example unknown to you. I'm a consultant in education. And when you were speaking, and I was looking at, I said, has this woman ever been a teacher? You are speaking like you know how to interpret to children the way they will understand. I appreciate you, ma. Now, my plight. Now, my plight. This is it. Okay. I'm going to speak from the angle of statistics. When children are writing JAM, I have this burning push, because it's a gap that has to be filled. I've registered my school business name already. The consultancy is one arm, is registered. The school name, before it is taken, I've registered it. And thanks to Zurich Circle, the grant I won took care of that last year. This time last year. If I went was raining this morning, I said, we're under the rain, going for that grant. This time, but the date, I think it was 24th of that one. And this year is something like that. But I can't forget. But that grant took care of these two things for me. My desire has always been to, it's not just a desire, I see it more like a mandate. I don't think to succeed at any other thing aside that. Now, I was able to do that. My mind is, okay, I will open a school with time. I'm just trying to, gather finances. But when you're in Nigeria and you don't have good counsel with regards investment and some things, you'll be going back and forth and never achieving anything. You keep postponing your plans, your things you're supposed to actually hit head on.
Things that can help you move forward.
Exactly, ma. Now, there's a gap in CBT for several years now. Yes, computer-based tests for students writing JAM for now. Mm-hmm. I'm going somewhere, ma. I want you to please listen to the statistics and I need your counsel. Now, in Lagos alone, over 2.03 or 2.3 million students are always stranded when it comes to writing JAM, because either because we don't have enough CBT centers. As I speak with you, ma, I am not the one that has gone to do a research on this. I am the research you're looking for. So it's not, okay, maybe go and do your research. I know the nitty-gritty of what it takes to set up a CBT center and get it up running perfectly. Okay? And to fund that, it's quite huge. And that's why sometimes when I look at two reasons why when I look at grants, I just look away. One, you hit something that concerns me, structure. Two, there are certain things I don't have in terms of, what is it called now? Having my own level of financing, my own funds. Now, we are having this growing gap, and it is a good opportunity to latch on as a businesswoman. That is the truth. This is where I'm going to again. Come 2026/2027, at most people, 2027/2028, WAEC will incorporate CBT. We will have a bigger problem. No one or very few of us seem to be looking in that direction of investment. I am very keen on it and I'm very big on it. Up until last 2 weeks, I sat with a team of people. I just sat with them that have experience in this. I said, let's map up a strategy. I want to treat it like I have the fund. And we did that. We've done the groundwork. But as I speak to you, I can't seem to, because let me just chime in something. For JAMB alone, you need nothing less than 250 working systems, that's computers or laptops, for you to have a CBT center amidst other prerequisites, okay? Then plus extra 25 as backup computers. Do you understand, ma? Now, the least, out of doing all the calculation, the least level of investment, if Madam Linda remembers, I spoke with her, I quickly sent her a message one day. I just said, I don't know if she remembers, but I know if I remember the thread of, remind the thread of conversation, she will remember. I said, what if I go into this? She said, why not? Why not? When I did the groundwork back then and did it again this year, the funding is increasing. I need nothing less than 70 million to get this, the approval, the structure I'll be needing, that's the premises, the space I'll be needing, things to put in place as required by JAMB. And once you are JAMB accredited, WAEC, you are automatically WAEC accredited as a CBT center. That's the way it goes. Okay. Then other federal government parastatals and bodies that are adopting CBT exams will also you pitch to them, and they use your place as a center for conducting exams or whatever tests for their people. Out of 70 million, I don't think I have 7 million. Am I going to keep staring into the air and wishing and riding on wishful horses? So, Madam Anita, how can Stanbic, what if I come to you now, what will you tell me? What do you think I should do? Because looking at it back and forth, there is a standard requirement of fund to float this kind of business in education. Thank you, ma. Sorry to take so much time, but this is bothering me. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Okay, so thank you, Lydia SCN. What I don't have is experience in education, but what God has gifted me is to see opportunities and match ideas, structure, funding to those opportunities. We will not be able to deconstruct your plan to go into a CBT approved, to set up a CBT approved center. But what we can do is exchange contacts, right? Because I cannot speak for, I'm speaking as myself as an individual. Modupe will speak about what Stanbic can do for you, right? But I know that there's money. There's money in this country. You just have to find the people who will key into that space. You put together your pitch so that that thing that you're seeing, they can see it, and then they will fund it. Another thing that we need to be able to get to do better in this country is our ability to crowdfund businesses. Because you have 70 million sounds scary of anybody's personal money. But if 70 people came together and brought 1 million naira, that's easier. That's crowdfunding. That's handing 70 people the opportunity to fund this your business and share the profit. So there's a lot of structural things that need to be done in this country to help us. But this your CBT test idea, you need to you need to be able to pitch it to the right people so that you don't run out of speed. Because pitching to the wrong people, you at some point you just get demotivated. The 7 million you have, I hope, or that you don't have up to the 10%, whatever you have, I hope it is earning something for you. But the next thing is find yourself in circles where the people who are passionate about education, because you do have those people, right? And structure this business such that they see the opportunity and that they see that it's making money. One of the things that because exam test centers are they're not used every day. So if you were to bring that business to a pool of people who have money, you have to make them see that even the period that the test center is being used, there's enough revenue that's generated. Because I mean, apart from charity and grants, everybody who puts money in a business hopes to either achieve impact or income, right? But we can sit down on ideas. I will rub minds with you at no cost, and we can take it from there. I'll link you with people who you can partner with.
Thank you, Ma. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Madam Anita, and thank you, Lydia, for
thank you, Mom.
Yeah, thank you. Let's take MCI Power's question, and then we'll move straight to the next speaker.
Yeah, good morning, everyone. I'm happy to be here.
Good morning.
Yeah, I'm happy I'm here, and I want to really say, and the facilitator, she did a very good job. Just that along the line, I had to attend to some customers. So I want her to clear me on the mutual fund. I want to be sure. Mutual fund, is this something I can just fix a particular amount, or is there an amount I can start with? And then, is there a time limit before I can access it? Why I'm asking is that I had to keep a fund because of an unforeseen circumstances, and it has been there. And it is a fund I can easily use to fund my business, but because of fear of liquidation, I had to leave it there. But now I want to confirm, mutual fund, is it something that I can access at any time?
Okay, so the amount of money
question,
you need to invest. Okay.
Ma, please can you hear me? Okay. Because there's a question in the chat box that is related. So maybe you should just answer it together. She was asking that, how do I invest in mutual funds?
Okay.
So we can just answer both.
I just went to the chat box to check what questions were there. So I'll answer both. How do you invest in mutual funds? The mutual funds are structured in such a way that investing in them is not prohibitive. The amount to enter is not very high. For example, the Stanbic IBTC mutual funds, you can invest with as low as 5,000 naira, right? But remember that I had mentioned in my earlier slide that your money must have a purpose. So if you have money that is the purpose is for long term, you can't put it in a short-term investment. If you have money that is for short-term, you can't put it in a long-term investment. So, madam, that's your emergency fund. Leave it in a mutual fund. Put it in the money market mutual fund. The money market mutual fund, you can quickly liquidate as soon as possible. I had mentioned I used one of a customer who needed to buy the Dangote private placement. It was yesterday 2 p.m. that he sent his redemption form. He got his money yesterday. If you're taking money less than 5 million and below, you can do it on the app. So it is that liquid. I mentioned that one of the advantages of the mutual fund is that it is that liquid. That the lock-in period for the money market fund, which is what I would recommend for anybody who has an emergency fund, is 30 days. Which what it's saying is, when you put your money with us, please give us at least 30 days. So before you come and withdraw, because at the time you give us money, we will deploy it into different asset classes so that you're not coming today and then tomorrow you say, I have the emergency. That's going to make us go and liquidate and pre-terminate some of the investments that we hold. So for your emergency fund, you can do that with the mutual fund. I will drop I'll drop a link for you where you can go and register for it. But if you want to contact me directly, I'm still very open. Like I said, I'm passionate about women, whether women in career, women in marriage, women in relationship, women in business. Once it's woman, I'm leading the discussion. So for no cost, I will also be willing to have those discussions with you on your business, how to structure it, right? So I'll drop my number. Just tell me that you're from Zurich, and I'll give you the best of me, I promise. Yeah.
Thank you very much, ma. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Madam Anita. Thank you, MCI Power. It's good to hear from you.